And type tricks number 3, I'll get it. Type tricks number 3 is what we're ready for here. Another little set of things you can do with type that are good for putting on the t-shirt designs. A couple of things to see here on the internet. I do have a help page. If you go to the help page and go to computer graphics, type tricks number 3 is right here. And everything you need to know is outlined right here. You're going to be working on 4 different tasks that involve type. Use school appropriate type. One example of each will do it. They are all listed here with instructions. United letters, fill type with a gradient, double stroked type, and type with a drop shadow. And you got to save and submit when you're done. All the instructions are here on my website, on the handout, and on Schoology. It's all queued up and ready to go, so you can turn it in when you are finished. All right, so let's go over to Illustrator and take a look at the kind of thing we're going to do. What we're working on, and you see the 4 different things. Here's united letters. The thing to notice there is that see how the letters are all connected? They all flow together right through there. They're kind of not separate shapes, and I'll show you how to do that. Over here we have text filled with a gradient. There's a trick to that. This double-stroked text idea, you can see that we've got a green face on the letter. If you look carefully, there's a yellow stroke. I'll zoom in some more. There's a yellow outline, and then there's also another black outline. And so that's what the double stroke thing is all about. You've got the face of the letter is green, and then there's a yellow stroke, and then there's a black stroke. Now you can do it with any colors you want. It's just a matter of kind of knowing how, and I will show you. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. Text with a shadow, and this is a really simple, quick way to do text with a shadow, and it's a little bit different than double stroke text. Not a lot, but a little bit different. All right, so those are the 4 things you're going to work on. Any school appropriate text is fine. Let's close this document and go to work. I'm going to start off by creating a new document here. I like mine, my orientation here, landscape. I'm going to click OK. And I think in previous lessons we have talked about the artboard panel. If you really want a new artboard, you could make another one. You only have to do 4 things, so I'm not going to make a new artboard today. I feel like it'll fit on one artboard, but that's up to you. You can kind of do whatever you would like. All right, so our first one, and I'll just kind of keep track by popping back to my handout every once in a while. Here we go. It's going to be united letters. That's what we're working on first. All right. So I'm going to create some text. That's the first thing. Mine's just going to say USA. You can do something different if you like. Now you'll notice that when I do these, I'm making that type bigger, and you'll also notice that I'm going to use pretty thick, bold fonts. You know, if you look through here, like this Gil Sans Ultra Bold is real thick and bold, and one of my favorites is Impact. So I use Impact a lot. There it is. I found it. And also Arial Black is good. So you don't have to use thick, bold fonts, but a lot of times it works a little bit better for what we're doing. All right, so I've got this kind of thick, bold font. Now the steps of uniting some letters together works like this. First thing, right-click and create outlines. Remember, that means it's not going to be type anymore. It's going to be shapes. All right, got that done. Next, right-click and ungroup it, because I want to move these letters around, so I'm going to ungroup it. So it's right-click, create outlines, right-click, ungroup. Now you'll have to deselect here in an empty spot so that you can grab onto these separately. Now exactly how you arrange them is up to you, but the trick, the idea here is I want them to touch or overlap just a little bit, and I'm just going to do kind of a diagonal. I mean, you could kind of do it like that if you wanted to, or and it depends on what the letters are. But I'm just going to kind of do a diagonal arrangement, kind of down like that in USA. All right. Now this looks like they are all combined together, but you and I both know that they're not. They're separate. All right, so I'm going to do that. All right, so I've got them arranged the way I want. Now it's time to go get our friend the Pathfinder. I'm going to pull out the Pathfinder panel. That's on the window menu. Remember, go to Window, click Pathfinder. And now I'm going to select all of this, and we've done this before. I'm going to select this arrangement that I've got right here and just unite it. Now once it's united, this is all one shape. They just kind of bleed together into one shape, and then of course I could come along here and fill this and stroke it however I want to, and I'll do a little patriotic kind of thing there. And there we go. All right. So that's an example of uniting some text, and I want you to try that today. Of course, that's really a shape now, so I can size that down some and kind of do whatever I want. And again, you can use whatever letters you want and arrange them however you want, but the trick is kind of make them touch, make them overlap, and unite them together so they run together. All right, I'll move my Pathfinder back out here a little bit, and let's move on. Our second thing that we're going to work on is filling type with a gradient. I don't know if you've ever tried this and run into frustration with it. I'm going to make some type here. I'm just going to go with Nike. All right, you can, again, any school appropriate type is fine, and for right now I'm just going to stick with that impact font because it's nice and thick. All right, now here's the thing about, if I go to my swatches panel and I go to the library and I go to gradients and I'm looking at these gradients, and maybe I want to do, I don't know, do metals, and I go to drop a gradient on there and it doesn't work. It won't fill with a gradient. It won't do it. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure I understand this, but for whatever reason, the folks at Adobe, when they made Illustrator, you can't fill a type object with a gradient, not as it is. But you can fill it if you right-click and create outlines. All right, so if we take this type and do our right-click, create outlines, and make it shapes, and I don't really even have to ungroup it. I could if I wanted to, but now you'll find I can fill those with gradients. All right, I'll just go ahead and click on a gradient here, and that'll fill all of them. There we go. So you can fill them with gradients, but you just have to right-click and create outlines first. So, and there's some things you can do. You can come over to the gradient panel, and you can play with the angle of the gradients and things like that, and so you get different looks. And of course, you could add a stroke to that if you feel like you really like a stroke on it. You can make that stroke black or whatever. And all I want you to do is fill some type with a gradient, and that's good enough. All right. Well, let's keep moving here. Let's go on to number 3, which is double stroked type. Okay. Well, first thing, again, on all of these, what you're going to have to do first is just create some type. I'm going to use Oregon, as in like the Oregon Ducks, the university, right? All right, I'm going to use that as my idea, but you use whatever school appropriate text you want. Now, first thing you got to do here is set a fill and a stroke on this text that you want. So I'm going to fill it with a green color, and I'm going to stroke it. I'm going to make the stroke, but I want to, and you could, black would be okay, but I'm going to do a yellow color because Oregon is green and yellow. All right, so that starts me off here. I've got, a color combination, green and yellow. I'm going to alt drag this, and this is where I want to think about a third color. What color do I want to add for this this stroke that I'm going to do? Well, I'm going to go with black, but you could go with a different color. I'm just going to use black for my idea here, and I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to fill it with black, and I'm going to stroke it with black, both. So whatever you pick for your third color here, I would fill and stroke with the same color. Now I'm going to make the stroke thick. I'm going to bump it up. And if you look at this copy of the word Oregon, it does not look good. The stroke is so thick that it's all running together, and it doesn't even really look like it should. But here's the final payoff here. You take this and set it over the top of the first one, and then you go right click, arrange, and send to back, and look what you've got. And it kind of makes sense. The green and yellow type is just sitting on top of the black type, and the black type has a really thick outline on it, and so you wind up with something that looks like this, and it looks pretty good. It's got that green face with a yellow outline, and then you can see another black outline that kind of highlights or makes it stand out, makes it pop even a little bit more. Now this is two separate objects, so I'm going to select that, and you'll find when you're working with text, if you right click, there's no group option. If you right click, it doesn't say group anywhere when you're working with type. Well, so what you do then is go to Object and Group or Control G, and you can still group it, you just have to do it a little bit differently. Alright, so that's our third one. Got that done. It's time for our last one. Our last one is type with a drop shadow. This is not the only way to make a drop shadow, but it's kind of an easy way to make a drop shadow. Alright, so I'm going to add some type. That's the first thing you do. I'll just say Indiana, I-N-D-I-A-N-A. And you take this type, this set, or this copy here, what you've got, and set it up with whatever color you want. And you can stroke it if you want to. You can just do a fill. It's up to you. I'm going to alt drag this. And what I do with this copy that I alt dragged is I set a shadow color. Now it could be whatever color you want. I'm just going to go with black because that is what I want right now, but your shadow color could be whatever you want. So I'm going to set the color of this copy of Indiana to black. Alright, and you'll see that the trick really is kind of the same as the double stroke. I'm going to right click, and this is kind of sticking down out of the movie window here. Right click and arrange and send to back. And then if I slide this in and I let go of it here, you'll see it slips right behind right behind the red copy. And you can use your arrow keys when you have the black one. In this case, I have the black one selected, so I can use my arrow keys to kind of bump it up or left or right or whatever I want. So you can see that I can kind of manipulate that shadow and get it sitting where I want. I tend to kind of like a shadow that's down and right a little bit, but that's again up to you. You kind of do whatever you want there. And so that is a kind of a quick and easy way to make it look like there's a shadow behind some lettering. And you might think, well, gosh, that's not a very big change, but sometimes it's the small things that really kind of make a design look a little bit better. All right, so there we have some shadow text. That's made out of two objects, so I'll drag over that. And again, remember, if it's type, if you're working on type, you go to right click and there's no group. You can't group it. So you come up here to Object and Group or Control G, and that gets the job done. Hey, look, there it is. That's a completed artboard with all the things of the day. We've got the united letters up here. We've got type filled with a gradient. We've got double-stroked type, and we've got type with a drop shadow that we made just a quick and easy way. So that's the assignment today. When you get done, it's a file and save as, and make sure you save. You can just save on your network drive and call it type 3. And you also should make sure that you turn it in on Schoology when you're all done. As we like to say around here, I'm bailing and you're sailing.